The debate for weeks has been Branthwaite or Todibo, centre-back, being one of the key positions Manchester United needed to strengthen this summer, especially with the rumours about all the players that could possibly be leaving. It now looks like instead of it being between both Todibo and Branthwaite, it's going to be Todibo, simply because Manchester United under Ineos will not buckle and will not be ripped off. Todibo is a better option for Manchester United, simply because he's cheaper, he's easier to get. Manchester United won't be absolutely nailed on with the contract. They won't be absolutely nailed with the price. They're not going to be paying British tax, which it seems to be with every Premier League player who plays in England right now, and especially with Man United tax on top of that. Is this the first sign of change under Ineos and where Manchester United are going forward? We're going to talk about that. Are you disappointed if it is Todibo over Branthwaite, or are you okay with that? Is he the better defender? We'll debate that. Scott McTominay is attracting attention from the Premier League and from the Bundesliga. But I want to ask you the question, would you still sell the so-called deadwood players at Manchester United, even if you knew we weren't going to be buying replacements for them and we will be left short next season? Are you bothered about that? There is a poll up there in the chat right now. After talking about Ten Hag, his replacement, Potter, Southgate, De Zerbi, Nagelsmann, Romano's come out and said that Manchester United have not contacted any. What does that mean? Does it really mean that we are not interested in them managers? I don't think so. We'll discuss more as well. And João Neves, another young prospect touted to come to Manchester United, has been warned off the move already by a former Manchester United player. Let's get into everything that's going on with United. I'm Adam. This is Forever United TV. Welcome along to the show, everybody. Get your comments in the live section, please, straight away. I want to know what you're feeling about any of them points that I've just talked about in the headlines. Get your questions across as well. I want to get through as many of them as I possibly can, and make sure that you drop your comment in after the live is finished as well. If you miss out on the live, welcome along, everyone. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and liking the video as well before we get started. I want to start with first of all, super chat in the chat, which is from Chris Cooper. Thank you, Chris. Fair play for getting the geese involved earlier. Which one was that, Chris? Right, I know what you mean. Thank you, Chris. I know what you mean now. Thank you. Hopefully you enjoy the show, and hopefully you will enjoy the content that we made earlier on as well today. There is some more short form content going out. That's what that super chat is about, everybody. About Manchester United's possible outgoings. Who would you let go this summer? That was done earlier on today outside of Old Trafford. But I want to start today with a possible incoming of Manchester United, and it looking like Ineos throwing their weight firmly behind the Todibo move. Now, when you look at Todibo, you look at why Manchester United would go for him ahead of a Gerard Branthwaite. Now, it's been rumoured that Branthwaite would be a cut price compared to what the original price that Everton were rumoured to be wanting for him. That was upwards of like 60, 70 million. Like, no one's going there for that price. Like, he's just signed a new deal. And I think, like we talked about the other day when we were laughing about Rashford being 100 million according to Manchester United, like, it's just a stupid number put out there to put people off. It's just a way of them saying, look, he's not for sale. But if someone wants to come in with a stupid bid, then we will consider it. That's exactly what both clubs have done. And it's the same stance that Everton have got with Branthwaite. When you look at Branthwaite, he's young, he's Premier League, you could say proven. He's had an alright season, he's impressed. Obviously working under Van Nistelrooy on loan for PSV as well, he's impressed and has definitely got his I would say, recommendations behind Branthwaite. Like he says, and thinks he will be absolutely world class. Playing with both feet, good in the air, strong, quick. It's exactly what you need in a defender, isn't it? It's like something that Manchester United just don't have in our defence, it would seem. But yeah, also comes with the issue, which is Everton. Now, if they got relegated, then I think this may switch again. And we may get stories that United may be tempted across, because Everton have to do a bit of a make-weight deal just to survive. They need to sell players because they've been relegated and need to balance books. Now, paying for a stadium doesn't help either. And I think a cut-price deal for Branthwaite would help and go a long way for helping the budget there at Everton. But for me, I just look at it and go, look, United are looking at Todibo simply because you've got the connection with Nice and the dual ownership. Jared says Adam is a legend. I agree with him, mate. Thank you. You've got the connection with Nice straight away with Sir Jim Radcliffe, dual ownership, things like that. Negotiations can be done at will, at ease, and he could probably fend off any other competition, being the being the owner of both clubs, or part owner. Then you've got the price, which is a lot cheaper, as it usually is on the continent. Todibo, young, won't demand high wages either, and has got time to grow. Now, your ultimate concern here is, is he going to adapt to the Premier League straight away? How quickly is he going to find his feet in the Premier League? Personally, if you was pushing me, I would sort of go towards the Branthwaite, but that's simply because I've seen him play more. Like Todibo, he's getting, and I'm not going to say that I watch Ligue 1 all of the time. I'm not. I don't. I don't think many people do, but you'll see clips online of all the best bits. Trust me, clips on YouTube, clips on social media count for absolutely diddly squat. You could make Scott McTominay look like Zinedine Zidane with the clips from this season for him alone, but you could also make him look as good as Jemba. And no disrespect to him, but he wasn't the best. Maybe we should recommend a Clebison, maybe, a Manchester United midfielder of yesteryears. But yeah, stats, clips, everything are built to make a player either look good or make a player look bad. We've seen it all the time. We've seen the clips of Rashford going around. We've seen the clips of Martial, Harry Maguire over the years. It's easy to see how people can make one player look good and one player look bad in particular. But yeah, we are getting noises about Todibo and him being the next best thing or the next best option for United. Young, dynamic, strong, quick defender. We don't know. We just don't know. You could be looking at a Baresi type figure here. You could also be looking at the next Phil Jones. You don't know what's going to happen to this player or how good he is until he puts that shirt on. Now, the only way you will know what attributes a player have got are if you properly scout him and you make sure that man has got the credentials to come into Manchester United. I don't know if Branthwaite or Todibo are good enough for Manchester United. I'm not going to say that they are. I don't think you guys should be listening to anyone who says that this is the better option. The only reason we're bringing Todibo up tonight is because he's affordable, not because he's the best. Right now, Ineos are looking to make a stance. We know what they're like. We know how they're going to work because we've seen what's happening with Dan Ashworth. Negotiating over a director of football, for God's sake. So, looking at that situation, looking how that's going, you'd have to say, look, they're not going to go into a transfer either and just be absolutely taken for a ride, going to get ripped off. That's not going to happen. And I just feel like they will be able to negotiate a better deal with Todibo, and it gets the ball rolling with transfers. I do believe that United are going to lose 3 centre-backs this summer. I think Varane, Lindelof and Evans are all going to go. And this is where I said, would you get rid of players simply just because they're deadwood or so-called deadwood? Now, the only deadwood I would call out of them 3 that were reportedly leaving United in the defence is Victor Lindelof. His time is done. His time was done 5 years ago for me. He's not good enough. Never will be. And never was in the first place. He was second choice or third choice. We were looking at Van Dijk that summer, and somehow we ended up with Lindelof. And he may look good. He may have looked fantastic in the Portuguese league. He may have been brilliant. And this is always a warning sign for the likes of Neves and other players coming in. Scout them. Make sure that they are the right player. Otherwise, you'll end up in situations that you're in right now. You could say, look, we all know about certain players. What I would watch is the perfect film to watch for this in terms of how to actually recruit and go into depth on a player. I mean, it's nothing to do with football at all, but I watched Draft Day the other day. I love that film. It's a brilliant film about Draft Day in the NFL and college football, American football. And obviously, the worst team in the NFL gets the pick and everything like that. But it was one player that everybody wanted, and he looked great on paper. And this is the Sancho equivalent to me. What this film did, it's why is everyone going for? Why is no one looking deeper into what this player is like on show and on clips and on stats and everything like that? He looks like the real deal. He looks like the perfect player. But reality is, when you go deeper, the mentality of that player, when the pressure comes on in a different scenario or a different environment, it's a completely different animal altogether. And you are looking at a failure straight away. So Alex Ferguson said it constantly. He had to know absolutely everything about every single player that was coming into Manchester United. From personal relationships to families to kids to what his pastimes were, what his hobbies are, everything. He needed to know he needed to know the full psyche of a player. This has just been forgotten. Like, there are obvious players out there that are easier to probably scout than others, like the quality of a Declan Rice. And then you only have to look at the mentality of the guy. Look at the fact that he's never had a drink in his life. And he won't until he's won a certain competition. Like, straight away you're looking at a guy there that is fully dedicated. You only have to look at Jadon Sancho and seen the clips. Seen him being housed up with Haaland when he was at Dortmund just so he got to training on time. Know that Nemanja Matic and the former Manchester United players were building up stats. I know this is while he's been at the football club, but these were the same traits that were at other clubs. Like, we were actually earning enough money to do a Christmas party off Jadon Sancho turning in late and getting fines for training, for God's sake. You've seen the video where he's being subbed off at the youth level with Phil Foden, and he doesn't even shake his hand. Like, he is one of them players, I feel, and the biggest one of all, no one else actually in for him. If he was the best thing since sliced bread, then why are United the only team in for him? This is where we have made mistakes before. Drastic, horrible mistakes which have cost the club fortunes and cost other players their careers because we've spent so much on these players. These other players that could have got through that we're never really going to know about got stopped and got blocked from getting there because the club were forcing these so-called world-beating Galactico players that we brought in, forcing them to play, making them play above everybody else. And this looks like the case with what we've got with Marcus Rashford right now. I don't want to go into that, but I want to just paint a picture of exactly how I see a Todibo and a Branthwaite and no one knowing what these players are like. No one's going to know how good these players are until they put a United shirt on. That's when the real test comes. Like, there are good players out there that could become great players at Manchester United. Or there are very, very good players that look excellent that can be average players. Because only the good players make it at the top level. Only the real exceptional players make it. And they are few and far between in what Manchester United have produced over the years. It's a very difficult one. And I just feel like the safest option out of Branthwaite and Todibo, with the way that United are working, and I think Barada will have a say on this as well, is that money there could be your next Harry Maguire situation. Getting taken to the cleaners by a Premier League club for a central defender that isn't worth that money and isn't as good as what everybody is making out. That's where we're at right now. That's the scenario we're at, and we don't have to go down that road. I think that's why Ineos are looking at Todibo, and I think that's why we're going to be in the market for players of that sort of price tag, rather than the Branthwaites, the inflated British transfer market, which is just ridiculous, to be honest. It really is. Get your comments in, please, everybody. I want to know what you're thinking on the centre-back situation. Should we be talking about anyone else, or is Todibo the right one? Wayne says, we know Ineos ain't going to spend big on big signings, Adam. 50, 60 million, if that. They're going to be tight with spending, says Wayne. 50, 60 million is still a decent bit of wad, mate. It really is. Satinja says, no Branthwaite, yes Todibo. I'm not bothered. If we need a couple of seasons to flush the turds out and bring in good players who are hungry and, more importantly, have good attitudes. Come on, Real Madrid. Evening to you as well, Sanjay. Hope you're doing well. What else have we got in? JB looks terrible every time I have seen. He looks awful. He looks awful against Chelsea. I mean, not a good game to be looking at a centre-back. That's 6-0 drubbing, is it? What have you missed, Leo? Not much. We're talking about Manchester United looking more towards Todibo than Branthwaite. Like, I'm not just saying that, and I don't think these rumours have simply just come out because Branthwaite had an absolute stinker against Chelsea the other night. I didn't rate him when he came to Old Trafford either. Like, I thought he was poor in that game. I wanted to see more. I just think Manchester United are going to be very, very careful. Like Wayne said in the comment section then, it's like Manchester United right now are in a position where they cannot afford to make mistakes. Like, we are going to be short on players this summer. I do believe that they will try and clear the decks, and there will be spaces and gaps that I think a lot of the younger players, the youth players at Manchester United, are going to have to cover. Boxing Straight Talk says, I think we should get both Branthwaite and Todibo. Do you think? I mean, guys, I'm going to ask you right now, like, do you rate Branthwaite? Like, you've seen more of him than you have Todibo. I know you have, because Everton are in the Premier League, and we're obviously going to see more of Everton than we are of Nice and Todibo, for instance. Unless you are a very, very keen European football lover who watches absolutely every bit of football, and credit to you if you are, because that takes some dedication. It does. Please give the video a like as well, guys. We're creeping up to the 100 mark, so please get in and like the video. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, Guinness there saying slap the like. Thank you very much. Andrew Short says the problem is they do not get rid of players that are not good enough or don't give their best. Then, as Mourinho said, the poison is still in the squad and affects the good players. I think it's exactly what's happening right now. The poison is still there. Like Jose said, players that he said needed to be out of this football club are still here now, years down the line. That shows you how bad it is. I mean, I'm not confident Ineos can do everything in one summer. I don't think they will. I think that's just unrealistic. But there are players that can leave Manchester United this summer, definitely, that are just out of contract and just need to be out of the door. Like easy sells, or even just easy releases. See you later. Let's start fresh. But I do worry about what's going to be left. I do. Like, for instance, the poll right now, would you sell the so-called deadwood players, even if it left us short with no replacement? 89% of you have said yes. That just shows where we're at. Like, we are fed up of seeing these players. We'd rather see the squad go short and probably see youth players come through and fill them gaps. Like, the fan base just wants action, I think, right now. And yeah, even if it's only 4 or 5 players, maybe 3 or 4 players coming in, as long as they're the right players and they've properly been recruited, I think the fan base will accept that. And yeah, we may be missing a few players in certain positions, but I think, like, I'm not surprised that poll has gone that way, by the way. I do believe that this fan base is at a point where it's like, I'm just sick of the sight of that player. I'm sick of the sight of these players, in particular certain ones that have been here for a long time, that everyone has been bemoaning for a long time now. So I think that's exactly where we are. Keep that vote going and keep voting on that as well, guys. I want to know where you're at with it. Don't forget, guys, I will be on Tifo straight after this stream. 7:30 we're starting. We're doing a City Real Madrid hate-along. Hopefully, a la Madrid, we get it tonight. I was outside filming at Old Trafford today, guys. Obviously, you see me earlier on, but there was loads of Madrid fans all doing the tour around Old Trafford. There's not much to do at the empty ad. There really isn't. The only time that anyone goes there is when a big team is in town and the away fans take their full allocation, which Madrid will do. And hopefully we're in for a cracker of a game and Madrid come through it. Like, I'm coming on Jude tonight. Come on, you've got to do it tonight, mate. Please, please. Like, I'm just talking to all the Madrid fans today, just saying, do this tonight, please, because I don't think we've got it in us to do it in the FA Cup. I did want to talk later on as well, guys, before we did finish up, which is a while yet, so don't worry. Ten Hag, is it his last week if he loses this weekend? There's a lot of talk around that as well, around social media. If he does lose, does he lose his job? Fred Cranham with the donated membership. Keith Thomas, welcome to the members club, my man. Make sure that you do tune in to Tifo. There is a members post, Keith, and the members video on the channel right now with all the information you need in the description of both of them to join us and watch the Real Madrid watch along. There is going to be giveaways as well tonight. We're going to do a couple of prizes, guys, so make sure that you're fully tuned in for that. The chat will be open. I think it's actually open now, but we're obviously in here talking first. So as soon as we're finished, all you members jump across. Is Branthwaite potentially another Maguire? I just said the same thing, Bacon Butty. I did. It's definitely a possibility, yes. You just don't know. Like I said, it doesn't matter for me. Like, the prospect players, I think this is where you need to be going with proper recruitment. They then need at least 2 years to adapt to playing for Manchester United. If after 2 years they are not cutting it or don't look like they can handle it or are improving as such, then I think Omar Barada steps in and goes, right, okay, like 2 years, not quite there, but if they linger and linger and linger, and I'll go through examples here right now, like Donny van der Beek, Anthony Martial, Scott McTominay, all of these types of players that have just stayed and stayed and stayed, gathering no value whatsoever. There is a time 2 years into a player's contract, I think the decision needs to be made. I think that's the time. That's when I always give players the benefit of the doubt. Like, 2 years in, what's happening? Have they improved? If not, it's time to move you on, because you are just not good. It's quite clear that 2 years is more than enough, and you failed in that time. Like, that's where United should be. That's how big clubs act. Like, if that player does not hit the ground running at a Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, like, these players don't last. They don't. Because big clubs cannot afford to wait around hoping that players can turn it around. Manchester United have turned into that care home, that summer camp, for players that have come in, that have failed, and go, oh, it's okay, we'll look after him, we feel sorry for him. Let's not be that club that just throws players away, wastes players. No. Actually be a big club, recruit the players properly, and then negotiate a deal with the player at the right age. Then you can sell them on if it's not working. Then you can renegotiate a deal if you need to, because that player has proved to be a really good player and worth keeping at the football club. Manchester United do none of this. They don't know when to get rid of players at the right time. They don't know how to get the best value for players. And this all needs to change. It does. 2 years, judge, move on, renegotiate. That should be a simple strategy for a big club. That should be the strategy for Manchester United. It's a no-brainer, and I believe that's what we will possibly be doing with Todibo. Like, he's not too expensive. We can obviously negotiate a better contract with him. We can negotiate a better deal, and he will have sell-on value if he does make it as well and someone else comes sniffing. So if it comes to a point like a lot of these players are right now, and City are the best at this, and this is what Berardi did best. Like, you've got no City player coming to the end of their contracts that's worth any amount of money. Like, every single player that's in their prime at Manchester City is nowhere near looking like they're going to be running out of a contract, are they? Not a one of them. And that, I think, is key. It's knowing when a player's time is up. It's knowing when their best value is available. And if you are going to sell him, then you sell him at the right price, at the right time. Chris Gray says, get Todibo, forget Branthwaite, and let Camberwella and allow Camberwella to develop here. Get rid of Maguire and Lindelof. Keep Evans for experience, and if we need another, get Tosin or someone as a fourth choice. Well, I can see. I don't think we'll get more than. I know we need more than one centre back. I don't think we'll get more than one centre back. It's just my. That's just my opinion on that. Just judging the waters and how everything is right now, I just don't think we're there with that. I really don't. Make sure you're hitting the like button, guys. We're almost at that 100 mark. Thank you so much. I think we have a super chat in there. We do from Stu. Thank you, Stu. Mine, says Stu. Would that be for the seagulls and the pigeons or the geese today? Thanks for rubbing that one in, Stu. I know you were watching later. Cheers for the super chat, mate. Scotty, 25 million. Slabhead, 30 million. Sancho, 30 million. Aaron Bazaka, 30 million. 10 million for Ericsson. Bit of cash in the bank. I don't think we'll get 30 million for Slabhead. I do think we could get 25 for Scott. 30 million, I agree, for Jadon Sancho. 20 million, I would say, for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and we're probably going to scrape 5 million together for Christian Eriksen. Leo with the super chat. Thank you, my man. Adam, would you be happy if we got Todibo and swapped Mason Greenwood for Bremer as well? No, I don't. I've seen that other story. I don't like to talk about him, Leo, to be honest, because swap deals never work. Like, I just like, if you want a player, go out and get a player. Man United shouldn't be looking to do swap deals. For me, you never got full commitment from a player. Like, you're just being used as a make weight. I don't believe. I mean, it's going one way. And if Bremer wants to come to Manchester United, I think United should just bid for him. But I don't think we'll get Bremer. I don't. I think he'll be too dear. And I think we should just sell Mason Greenwood. It's going to be really interesting what Ineos do with certain players, because we talked earlier on about Jadon Sancho, and hopefully it's just going to get completely put to bed that there's a chance that Sancho could come back to Manchester United, like Wilcox, and then rumours about him knowing Sancho's agent and having a close relationship and stuff like that. I mean, it does not matter. It really doesn't. Wilcox, if he wants to endear himself to the United faithful, then he would look at the situation and go, if you allow Sancho back in, like everyone said earlier on today, that is just proof that player power is right, and player power always wins the day at Manchester United. Over 100 likes. Thank you, guys. Absolutely brilliant. Cheers for that. Make sure you download the SofaScore app as well. Bottom right-hand corner is your QR code there. The best football app out there. It's what I'll be using tonight when we jump across the TIFO for our watch-along. So make sure that you download that app. The link is in the description as well under SofaScore. Completely free, guys. Also, thank you to Optimally Me again, our other partnership. Bringing the doctors to your home. Straightforward. No queuing, no nonsense, no mess. You feel like you need a checkup, bring it straight into your home. Packaged, checked, sent away, and results sent straight back to you on their own database. They're easy, cheap as chips. Use our QR code there and my discount code as well to get all of the checks and all of the tests that are available on Optimally Me. Become your optimal self, as we say. Moving on to other news, and João Neves, remember him? The young holding midfielder from Benfica. Now another midfielder, a holding midfielder from Benfica. And Mr. Matic. Lo and behold, Matic is in the house. It had to be him, didn't it? Well, Nemanja Matic has apparently warned off João Neves from making the move to Manchester United. Not that it's a bad move. Not that he shouldn't do it. It's just at the fact it's too soon. Like, I can see where he's going with that. João Neves has got plenty of years left in him. I don't think he's in any rush or needs to be in any rush to make that move. He could develop even further. He's just made the Portugal squad while playing for Benfica. So what is the rush as such? The rush is Manchester United need a midfielder, and it should be them that are the ones that are going to get João Neves. But in that situation also, it also plays into the hands of Benfica because they will know that Manchester United have got the cash to spend. There's not many other clubs that can give Benfica that high fee. There really isn't. So I think if United do go in for Neves, I think it's going to be one of them situations where Ineos are going to look at it and go, I don't think so. I mean, I would look at players like that, and again, like I said earlier on, when it comes down to recruiting and when you need to make sure that this player is the right fit and you're fully convinced, then we will make the right decision and buy that player. I just don't know if we have looked into João Neves enough or know exactly where Ineos are with their recruitment set up in terms of bringing someone that young in for that price, because he is upwards of 70 million. That is a lot of wonga to spend on a young kid who definitely is unproven at the highest level. No disrespect to Benfica. He looks like the real deal over there in Portugal. But like I said earlier on, you could easily be buying the next Jemba or Klebison. They both look decent. You don't know. Recruit right. And if you are fully convinced, make that deal happen. I love younger players like that we can get before anyone else does. It's just a shame that Benfica have got their ship in order and they have got João Neves on the perfect contract where they can just go, no, give me more. More, please. And Man United will end up buckling. I don't think we will buckle anymore. I think we'll just walk away. And we'll lose a lot of transfers with Ineos negotiating. I just don't think they're going to get taken all away by clubs anymore in the negotiation side of things. I don't. And I do believe that Manchester United will just keep holding their own. They have to be fully committed to them big signings. I don't think they are to Neves. Like, I'm all for it. I like the look of the player. I really do. I just hope that the club have done the proper homework if they do go in for him. But personally, I've said it before on the shows, I don't think we'll be spending that much money on an unproven player. To spend that much money, I think it has to be the real deal. Right now, at this stage for United, we cannot be taking risks at that price. So yeah, that's my opinion on that one. The Honest Tiger is back in the house and has gifted a membership taken by Steve Flat. Steve, make sure you jump across to the members community post and videos, mate. You can join us for the Real Madrid Man City watch along, which is coming up at 7:30 tonight after this show over on Tifo. Links are there, how to sign up and get sorted. It's completely free, guys. Like I said, just jump across if you are a member. Make sure that you are joining us and make sure that you are in that chat and trying to get through this game and pray that Real Madrid takes City down tonight. It needs to happen. We're in trouble otherwise because we cannot have them winning a double treble. That is something that I don't even think United down the line could do. That would be the ultimate. That would be the ultimate, wouldn't it? That we would never be able to recover from that. They wouldn't allow us to recover from that. Please, Real Madrid, do it tonight. For God's sake, we need you. We need you big time. So, come and help an old foe out, eh, Madrid? And do the job. Ancelotti is the man. Ancelotti is the man. That's what we're saying. God. Wow. So, guys, I mean, let's get into... We talked about Romano earlier on, saying that United haven't had contact with Potter, Southgate, Nagelsmann, any of these players. It doesn't really matter what Romano says. Like, they might not have, but it still doesn't mean that they're not being discussed and aren't their favourites. So, you look at it and you sort of... When we did it this morning with Potter, you've analysed the manager, you analyse why you would think Ineos were looking at him, what attributes he brings... And yet, there's not a lot there for Potter. There really isn't. But talking about who he's replacing and possibly Ten Hag. I mean, guys, if Ten Hag loses this Sunday to Coventry, for you personally, is that it? Is that the end of the road for you? Has he gone? Do you think he will end up losing his job? So let me know if, first of all, you think that will be the end in reality. And would you just let him go, like, personally? Get in the chat. Let me know, everybody. Let me know what you think on Ten Hag. Is this his last game this weekend? If, of course, he loses. I've been tweeting out and saying it, but I didn't bring it up on yesterday's show or this morning's, actually. But massive congratulations to all of the academy, Nick Cox, everyone involved, all the managers and the players for winning the Under-18s League. Absolutely fantastic achievement. Another win on the day to clinch it, and yeah, you've got to give massive praise to them lads. And you know what, the fact that so many of them are training in that first team squad right now, and some making, in fact, the match day squads as well, we may even see some of them this weekend. I guarantee, though, with Wembley on the horizon, that a lot of these so-called first team players miraculously find themselves fit. Guarantee Scott McTominay's fit for this weekend. I'll say that for nothing. Guinness says, yes. Let me just read that there. I've heard he was like it in Germany as well. I don't know who that is. Maybe Jadon Sancho. It's going to be like deja vu, us trying to stop City win City double treble in the FA Cup final. Oh, if it is, then I'm worried. I really am. I really am, Anthony. Stu says... no, he's talking to someone else. Bye, Eric. Judge and Jora. Yes, says Gary. In terms of Eric Ten Hag losing this weekend, does he lose his job? No, the players are throwing him under the bus. No, says Daz Salford. It's already the end, but to lose to Coventry at Wembley, then it's goodbye. Of course he is gone if he loses this weekend, says Andrew. Yes, 100%. Ten Hag is definitely gone the next game he loses, says Boxing Straight Talk. If it's getting Southgate or Potter, then hell no. I think it'd just be a case of Eric Ten Hag losing his job. Like, will Ineos be forced to act simply because he has lost everything and that is the season over? Like, there's no accomplishment left. You can't make Champions League. You can't win a trophy. Is that the end of the road? We will have, 6 games left for an interim to come in, or possibly a new manager, which... let's say, end of the day, can have a little look around the squad, see how crap this squad actually really is. I mean, you don't know, do you? You don't know. But, hey, London, don't worry. You're in. Make sure you're in for the watch-along as well. And Tifo, which is coming after this stream. Who would you replace him with? Don't want Southgate or Potter. That's the problem, Bear. There isn't any replacements there. There isn't any. No, Ineos may have him next year, Adam. Defo gone in the summer, says Daz. Ala Madrid, says Stu. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Guys, good video like. Let's get up to that 150 mark. Everyone is preparing for the games. The Champions League is coming, guys. We're jumping across the Tifo very, very soon. I just wanted to get into the last bit of the show and just see where you guys are at. So, for instance, the Scott McTominay news. Like, if there is interest elsewhere, Scott McTominay's contract is coming to an end next season. So, it's either sign a new deal, and then we have got Scott McTominay, I think, until he's in his 30s, or we sell him now. But would you sell Scott McTominay if, like we know already, like Donny's not going to stay, Amrabat isn't going to stay. Casemiro could be going. Eriksen's going to be going. If we are that short in midfield, are you still getting rid of Scott McTominay, guys? Get into the chat now. I want to know that before we finish. Would you get rid of Scotty Tuhote even if we had no replacements coming in? Because apparently Manchester United aren't prioritising a central midfielder. So the same guy who says that we haven't contacted Potter, we haven't contacted Southgate or Nagelsmann, says that we are not prioritising the central midfielder this summer. Like, every Manchester United fan knows that we need a central midfielder. For God's sake, it is drastic, innit? Like, we are desperate for one. We really are. So, yeah, no. I honestly, unless you're telling me we've got a replacement for Scott, I'm not selling him. I don't think we can. I really don't think we can. But McTominay is still, will still be scoring late winners next season at United. What about Simeone Inzaghi for manager? Got to get him out of Inter. You got to get him out of Inter, mate. That's the only problem you've got with it. Like, there's no way that we can just go to these big clubs. Like, we're already making waves in trying to get directors of football and technical directors, CEOs. Like, how many more people are we going to go and upset in trying to find the right people to run Manchester United? It's hard. I told people Ineos was a fraud. We don't know yet, Andrew. Like, give them a chance. Like, let's see through the summer and then let's judge them from there. I think that's what everyone wants to do. They want to do it properly. Like, there's nothing they can do right now. They're bringing people in staff-wise and putting people in place. If this all fails, then by all means, everyone go in on Ineos and judge them. Like I said, I am going to take that 3-year plan and I'm going to hold them to it. Like, I was a bit disappointed the other day when we was only hearing about the first meeting for the development of Manchester United Stadium. Like, the first meeting? Like, come on, man. We've been doing this for 2 years, looking into the regeneration of the area and Old Trafford and what can be done. So why are we stuck at this now? Like, first meeting? No, I'm not having that. It's not the first meeting. It can't be. Like, it just seems like we're starting again. It just takes United forever and a day to do absolutely anything. And it just annoys me. It really does. But, yeah, no, I'm not having it. I want things to move quick. Like, Ineos saying 3 years for me means I want news in the next few months about the new stadium and the development. I want to see players going. I want to see players coming in. I want the situation with the manager sorted. I want it all moving forward in the first year. Like, it has to happen quickly. So, no, I'm not going to be happy if nothing happens. Like, if we don't see obvious progress in the first year under Ineos, then I'm going to start asking questions myself. But I am going to give them till the summer. I'm going to make sure that we judge them at the right time. Manchester United right now are in a position where player power is rife and player power is in complete control of this football club. It really is. Leo, thank you for renewing that membership as well. It should be easy to get Todibo, but we still need 2 centre-backs. Thank you for that. And your super chat as well, Leo. Sorry I missed your renewed membership post as well there, mate. But yeah, I think Manchester United under Ineos, I'm still confident that they're going to make change, but I am still sceptical as well that things can obviously go wrong. And they need to prove to a lot of Manchester United fans. Ineos are all talk, no action, says Andrew. Well, they bought Barada in, they're bringing Wilcox in, they're bringing Dan Ashworth in. So it's not all talk, is it, mate? Like, you can't say that when the summer's not gone and we haven't got through a full transfer window. Let's see. I will completely agree with you if nothing happens this summer significant, Andrew, but I can't say that right now. I don't think it's right to say it. I don't think it's fair to say it right now, but yeah. One thing we can say is that is the end of our show, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're all going to get ourselves prepared to watch Real Madrid take down Manchester City. The show starts on Tifo in 15 minutes, everybody. You can get in there now, though. Get in there, get in the chats. Let's crack open a few beers and get ourselves ready to watch what's probably going to be a decent game of football, at least. And let's pray that the Madrid boys can do us a favour, because I just don't see United being able to stop City. And that's the big concern. We cannot afford to have a double treble on our hands from our noisy neighbours. But guys, super chats, new members, everyone's comments, thank you so much for today. Earlier on as well outside Old Trafford and tonight's show. I will be seeing you all tomorrow on YouTube. But members, if you are in green and a member of the channel, jump across to Tifo now. You can sign up using the details in the description on the community post, which has just gone out, and the members video, which you will be able to see. It's all there in the description. Click on the link, sign up to Tifo, join me there. We're going to have a ball. Hopefully, we're going to be laughing at City losing and dropping out. Thank you so much, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow on YouTube. But, yep, don't forget, members, I'm crossing over to Tifo. 7:30, I'll be there. I'll see you all there. Get involved, and let's have a good one. See you in a bit, people. Have a great evening. Enjoy the